This is your City Council Roundup, a recap of what's happening at City Hall with John Ongaro. The views expressed in this program are solely of those of the host and not necessarily those of the radio station or its partners.
All right, a fairly uneventful meeting last night. Start time 6:39 with perfect audio and video, which is always a bonus. Only a couple of things covered, but an important report from Community Services Transit Services providing an annualized summary of safety-related incidents and negative interactions experienced by transit operators for a 3-year period from 2022 to 2024. The Thunder Bay Transit system has seen a reduction in reported safety incidents, which is good news, involving transit operators, according to the report presented last night. Number of key incidents has decreased from 275 in 2022 to 128 in 2024, which is attributed to implementation of some safety measures. Key initiatives included the de-escalation training for staff, the introduction of an electronic fare management system, a printed transfer system with a 90-minute validity, and the ongoing installation of permanent driver safety shields. A lot of improvements are expected through the frontline restructuring and collaboration with the Amalgamated Transit Union, Local 966, and the adoption of the passenger conduct policies developed by the Canadian Urban Transit Association. The measures will aim to build a safer and more respectful environment for both transit operators and passengers. So good news, it's getting better. Thunder Bay is also set to renew its climate adaptation strategy with the help of funding from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Green Municipal Fund. Say that 10 times fast. The city plans to apply for up to $105,000 to cover 80% of eligible costs for the 2-year project with no increase to existing budgets required. That means it costs you nothing. The renewed strategy will incorporate lessons learned in the original 2015 strategy and look at the social impacts of climate change and recognize the community's role in disaster response. Also last night, the city advocating for the redistribution of the provincial land tax transfer tax, the LTT, and the goods and services tax, the GST, to municipalities to address some infrastructure funding shortages. We have a few of those. The Intergovernmental Affairs Committee supports the Town of Aurora's resolution that is emphasizing that current revenue sources are insufficient for maintaining essential infrastructure like roads and bridges, public transit, and water systems. Councillor Kristen Oliver highlighted the need for a stable funding source that does not burden residents with new taxes, suggesting that redirecting a portion of the land transfer tax and GST would support economic growth in our city and enhance the quality of life. That passed last night. This month also, this is a big deal, one to keep an eye on. The City of Thunder Bay launched a survey to review its city council governance, specifically looking to replace the committee of the whole system with standing committees. Now, this is very confusing to explain. Essentially, what happens right now is that there is a meeting, which is the committee of the whole, and then there is a city council meeting directly after where decisions are finalized and ratified. The review, led by the Director of Legislative Services and City Clerk Krista Power, will also assess the current framework of over 15 council advisory committees. The public can participate in the survey at thunderbay.ca/get involved until March 31st. And then city council members and the executive leadership team will get involved and review the process too. A report with the proposed changes to the governance structure is expected by the end of June. Incorporating the survey results and any changes that city council will require will need approval. It'll be complicated. It will be very different. We'll see what happens. And that was it. The council of the whole was done at 7:21. And then we went on to the city council portion of the meeting. From that, only one noteworthy thing. Councillor Hamilton last night asked for a portion of last week's minutes to be removed pertaining to the Woodside Park deferral. If you remember, last week administration suggested the sale of Woodside Park and making it available for new home building. With that, last week, Councillor Cicino put forward a motion to defer the decision for 2 years. Within seconds, your council agreed to defer the vote, and that was it. It was done. Against administration's recommendation, it passed. The 2-year deferral was in place. That's the part that Councillor Hamilton brought back to council last night, putting forward an amendment to last week's motion. Simply put, he asked to change the 2-year deferral to 6 months until the end of October, giving residents some time to plan what they'd like to do with the park. Not much discussion. The amendment came forward and only Mayor Boschkoff spoke in favor of the amendment. He said that we need the land to continue to make room for more housing, that he'd like to see council come back to Woodside this fall and make a decision again this fall instead of waiting 2 years. Well, no one else agreed with him. It went to a vote and lost in a blaze of glory last night. The rest of council has trouble with making these difficult decisions. We've seen this movie before. It's more about keeping your nose clean with residents and not making difficult decisions that move the city forward and following recommendations of the experts in administration. It's about looking good. Consider this a pretty simple decision that, yes, might have minimal impact on a neighborhood, but a chance to move us forward, and it failed again. It's been more than apparent that this group has trouble making some tough choices at times. That was it. The meeting only lasted an hour, and they're back again next week.
I kind of feel right now we're in a bit of a lull when it comes to some things going on at City Council.
Well,
And
there's
I'm
a
not
lot of
saying
things
that's
cooking. A lot of things cooking.
Okay, so that was my next question. Like, what seems to be on the horizon right now, say in the next couple of months?
Well, the designated truck route is coming back.
I've heard about that,
The
yes.
tender for the indoor turf facility is coming.
Okay.
There's a lot of big things on the horizon. But, one of the biggest things that I guess administration is concentrating on, especially City Manager John Collin, is all about growth. And this whole park thing is a bit of a sign for me that it's a small park. I get the neighborhood. Don't send hate mail. I understand. I have a green space in my street too. Would I mind if it was gone? Well, yeah, there's some kids playing in it sometimes. But if it's about moving forward and making available more lots to build on, why are we saying no to this? It's not like we're going to make a pile of money off of it, but we're about $17,000 a year in taxes. But really, at the end of the day, these are the kinds of decisions that are coming, that they're going to have to make some pretty tough choices to allow for this growth to happen. And the fact that Councillor Hamilton and Mayor Boschkoff came back last night with, hey, can we not defer this 2 years and look at it for 6 months? And the rest of council said, forget it.
Yeah.
And it makes me nervous a little bit about the things to come.
I tell you, that property, but your place, that's a nice, there's fourplex right there.
There's room for even a six in that lot, and that's revenue. Sure, the 4 or 5 kids that play in it a couple times a year might be disappointed. However, it's about moving the city forward, so hopefully we can get to that.
I'm also quickly, I'm a bit shocked that there was no discussion at council last night about, some announcement that came last week about a big piece of property. I'm not going to get into it right now.
They have nothing to do with it.
Okay, just thought
they
maybe
have nothing.
there was
It's
something.
all with zoning.
Maybe to address rumors and whatnot.
All you have to do is go onto Facebook and all those construction experts and those building experts about what that building is going to be at the Expressway and Golf Links. Who knows what it's going to be?
Right.
There is no decision on it. And the city has said more than once they do not know who the tenant will be. They are dealing with the developer. So can we all just take a breath and wait to see what happens?
I would like to just say publicly
of course,
that I don't believe they don't know what's coming.
I disagree with you.
Leave it at
no,
that.
I disagree with you. The negotiations are with the builder and the developer. The developer goes and gets a tenant. The city has nothing to do with that. The city only deals with the developer about developing that land. That's it. But the city has no say, no nothing with who that tenant is.
That's fair. But for them to say they don't know what's going there, I disagree. But that's a whole other conversation.
I don't understand how they don't know. It doesn't matter who the retailer is.
They have to know, John.
No, they don't.
Yes, they
Why
do.
do they? Does it matter who the tenant is?
Well, maybe in some instances, maybe if you're not approving of the type of business that
it's a big box retailer.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you're suggesting is that the city needs to know who that big box retailer is because maybe they'll consider what the impact will be on local businesses?
No, I'm just saying I find it very hard to believe they don't know or claim to say they don't know who or what is going there. That's all I'm saying.
Bit of a conspiracy theorist, but that's okay.
Okay, that's fine.
At the end of the day, it comes down to, is somebody going to develop there? How much taxes are we going to make off of it? And how much does the city have to spend to attract that tenant here? Yeah. We'll see. Now, keep in mind, this is a council that's not all about, making waves, right? So when local businesses start piping up saying, I think that certain retailer is going to hurt local businesses, which it will the city will the councilors stand up for those local businesses and say no?
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Sorry to divert from
That's
the
fine.
council roundup.
Happy to have the debate.
Yes, there we go.
But let's not start putting up balloons and streamers yet.
No,
This is a long
no,
way away.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
All right. Recap of your city council roundup. You will find it at 999thebay.ca in just a bit, or you can text the word council to our T-Bay Tel Talk and text line 807-344-8229.
Let's do it again next week and hope that it's an hour again.
That would be nice.